and then make the remaining value steps flow. Once you have decided where the value gets generated, you understand where the waste is, where is the problem that we are actually trying to put too much fat in, where we've got a lot of waiting time, a lot of excess inventory, a lot of processing which is not required. So if we understand this, then it's far easier for us to understand where can we add value in this process, where can we try and add more value, more thinking, and more productivity. That's where we should not have any waiting time, no downtime. And that's why with a web, for example, if you just look back about 10 years ago, a website to be able to be up and running nowadays, the availability of any website is 99.99%, according to some of these ISPs or even the cloud providers like Amazon. Amazon, in fact, the only instance when they actually went down was last 2 years ago. There was one instance where they actually went down, where the EC2 instance is what they call. It went down for a good, I think, 10 minutes. And because of that, the whole of the gamut of applications, including Facebook, Instagram, and some of the other productivity tools like Salesforce, all of these went down. They actually were not available for that brief 10-minute period. And because of that, apparently, a lot of productivity actually got affected. You know why? Just because that particular application was not available. The whole of the cloud, the EC2 instance of Amazon that went down for 10 minutes. And if you actually look back for about a good few years, 5 years or 10 years down, you can't rely on technology. I mean, every time, if you want to just log on to something, they used to be say like link down, sorry, it's not available, network down, or internet down, or even that application is down. But nowadays, with more and more technology, more and more networking functionality available, you've got this uptime, as what we call the availability is being increased. Back in those days, I actually remember the SLA, that is called service level agreements. When we try and get a contract with the customers, we say this is a service level agreement, so we sign up. So we used to actually say that downtime is basically about 10 to 20%, which means the application, we are committing that the application or the product that we're developing is available around 80% of the time, and there is a possibility that it can go down 20% of the time, which means every 2 days in a week it's not going to be available. Think about that scenario now, which is totally weird, because now we're thinking about always on, always online kind of a thing, right? The whole thinking and mentality and the way of working for us is that if it's a website, it is supposed to work and be available 24/7 by 365 days in a year, and that goes on. There's no such thing as a downtime. If something is not available, then it's a problem. So downtime is a big issue. And if you're thinking about your product, whether it's a web or a digital product, you should think in terms of any possible potential downtime, how you can try and address that. And then any scrap within a between steps, any things that are unwanted, unnecessary, unwarranted situations, unwarranted handoffs, a lot of excess documentation, all of those are reasons for us to kind of remove the waste and make sure that the value is increased and waste is decreased. And this actually is pretty relevant even in the context of what we are looking at now with the environmental, more and more people are talking about climate change. We are looking at businesses and people more aware and more conscious of environmental issues, ecological aspects, and how we should fight off the climate change. And so they're talking about reducing the bio waste, right? How they should reduce plastic consumption and creation of plastic, and try and more organic, more natural ways of, or more biodegradable ways of generating these products, or creating these products and using the products. So lean is pretty much very commonsensical that way. It talks about all of these. It was started about 30 years ago, and it still is relevant even now. Very powerful way of working and way of relating to things. And continuous flow, again, it's important we have this flow continuously, which is again linking back to Kanban. We talked about how we look at the flow and not just about the discrete ways.